That's great though. I think they recognize that. Like you just straight up being like, if you want this to look good, I need better footage. I'm not just going to settle for whatever
I've
this
gotten,
is.
yeah,
Someone
I've gotten to the point
should
where
have
I
said
ask
that to
people.
Rob McCauley.
Russell, Rob, okay,
The fact that
Rob, okay.
the fact that that's I don't give a shit how I do it. That is making it into the episode somehow. So help me Jesus.
Well, you can just cut like what I said because that was more personal,
Yeah.
just between us, and then just cut to Sam just saying that. Just
Fucking hell. That was 6 times you just got his name wrong in the span of 10 seconds.
You didn't even get it right near the end because you stuck with Rob.
Yeah.
Rob Mokley.
That's gonna be my porn director name is Rob Mokley.
Boy, well, that's what happens when you have a brand new Voodoo Ranger in your hand. Where is it, Sam?
I don't have one.
I am the Voodoo
am now
Ranger.
incarcerated.
Oh, that's right. You're in car, sir, Ray.
In fact, I am
we watch Voodoo Ranger. We drink.
I'm
bad.
looking up the surf wax.
Oh,
we
shit.
drink Voodoo Ranger because it is, in fact, a 3-for-3 drink.
Exactly.
You get drunk. You drink less beers because you get drunk quicker. And 3, it's beer.
There you go.
3-for-3. Can't think of a better ad.
What did they say?
More honest.
I'm the one messing up the names. Matt's not, and he's the one drinking the Voodoo Ranger Juice Force 9.5%. So
right. So because Voodoo Ranger will get you drunk, but you won't mess up people's names because it's nice like that.
You'll remember.
Voodoo Ranger, great for trivia.
But you'll remember.
Voodoo Ranger, great for trivia, terrible for bad hookups. Because you will remember.
It's a double-edged sword, the Voodoo Ranger.
I'm gonna take a 3-piece with the boss sauce.
Picture this.
And some macaroni and cheese.
You just ruined the fucking punchline.
I'm sorry.
Are you drinking paint today, Sam?
I'm drinking paint today.
That's the point.
That's the point, and that's what makes me so fucking mad about this goddamn movie. It's the point.
How do you hate this movie? I don't think about him in this movie. He doesn't exist, that fuck. That fucking fuck. I am still here for it.
Your co-host, Mr. Workman, will not be joining us this week, for I have destroyed him for all time.
That's terrible. Can we call it the Foreskin 20 episode?
Oh, fucking God.
3 for 3. Now that's really cool.
Sam.
Oh boy.
We're at this point in our lives where we're bringing to you, the people out there, the legendary Voodoo Ranger. Because when you drink Voodoo Ranger 9.5 Juice Force, you get incarcerated.
No.
You drive.
And so,
oh my God, I love that so much.
Now that we're on the road with this show, because my name is Samuel Holler, my balls are fat this week, and they are Matthew Patterson and Jackson Workman, full of blood.
Hopefully, nothing precipitates our balls into shrinking. That's all I gotta say about that one.
Let's hope not.
It's a 3 for 3. It's a Monday. Now it's a Tuesday on my end, which is fitting because that is our OG recording day is Tuesday. Because who the fuck would call on a Tuesday night? All I'm trying to do is watch The Equalizer. I think this week, now that we have some picks that I am forced to watch rather than watching the goddamn fucking Equalizer, I have to pull my camera back a little and step off frame to grab something.
But yes, my pick this week.
Damn, why are we so close to your face?
Oh, I can't even see him.
Oh, he's got the comics.
I'll take your word for it. Sam, say
Say
something
the
so
name of
it
your
cuts
pick.
to you.
You won't even have
Oh,
to
there you
switch
go.
to an image.
Ah, ha, ha. Great. I love it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my pick this
Uzis.
week was the 1994 superhero action drama, The Shadow. And if you can, ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to do is, of course, picture this. Let me ask you a question first, though, ladies and gentlemen. What evil lurks in the hearts of these three men? The Shadow knows. And the Shadow will reveal all as we bring to you our third Russell Mulcahy movie on this podcast, continuing the tradition of having him on once per season. I had to do it, and this was the one that spoke to me the most. So if you can, ladies and gentlemen, picture that you are in 1930s New York, and you are a rich playboy who happens to look like Alec Baldwin. What is your name? Lamont. Because why not?
Cranston.
Right? Lamont Cranston. Thank you. I couldn't remember his last name. And, you're just a rich asshole who, for the life of him, cannot show up to a fucking dinner with your uncle on time. Because, amen. But
that's my
you
shadow.
also you have a bit of a sketchy past because for about 7 years, you were a fucking ruthless, evil drug kingpin over in Asia during World War I, but nobody seems to give a shit about this. It's actually kind of insane how many people just don't give a shit that this guy's like a fucking world-renowned murderer criminal, and they just let him go back to being a playboy. Yeah, that's the look he had in his eyes when he shot James Hong. That was foul, what he did to James. So, yeah. Yep, seems about right. And so while you were over there in Asia being an evil drug kingpin, this guy, the master, the ancient master, he found you, and he was like, God damn it, I'm gonna turn you into a force for good, which is exactly what Tina Fey said to Alec Baldwin when she cast him on 30 Rock. God damn it, you're out of control, and I'm gonna try to turn you into a force for good. And he turns his life around.
And the entire beginning of the movie, Christopher Nolan does in Batman Begins.
Yep, pretty much that exact same thing. But it's okay because the Shadow came before Batman, so they can get away with it.
I'm not calling out Russell Mulcahy. I'm calling out Christopher Nolan.
Yes, good point.
Shadow's an OG.
Put some respect on Mulcahy's name, Nolan. I won't watch The Odyssey till you do.
Shadow's an Mulcahy.
I swear to God, if he doesn't say that I was inspired by the Shadow, I'm gonna
put some
shadow box his ass.
Respect. Put some respect on his name. God damn it, on the Mulcahy. But yeah. So now
a different superhero.
Now but now that the master has found you and he has taught you his ways of being good and reforming you, he turns you into a superhero known as the Shadow. And so you are now quite a legend in New York. And, you're doing pretty well at scaring criminals, scaring thugs on the bridge, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, everything's going great. You're a legendary vigilante in New York, and you're doing good, trying to make up for your past. But then who shows up? Genghis Khan's last descendant.
That was your fucking joke. Okay, now I get your letterbox review.
Yes. Genghis Khan's last descendant. Now, I know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't like half the world's population descended from Genghis Khan? That's not important. This is the last descendant of Genghis Khan. History or, anything like that be damned. They don't give a shit. And he
looks like him.
He does. And he has to be stopped, goddammit. He has to be fucking destroyed. And the Shadow's the only man who can do it. And there's all kinds of other bullshit. There's a girl who he gets involved with. Jonathan Winters is in this goddamn movie for some reason as the police chief. All kinds of bullshit is going on. It's a stacked ass cast. You got Ian McKellen, you got Tim Curry, you got Penelope Ann Miller, John Lone. It's fucking nuts.
I got something to say, Jackson. And I'll let you finish, but I do have to say this. In my perfect universe, the one where we trade Anne Frank for Barbara Streisand, in this movie, it is not the descendant of Genghis Khan, but in fact is Jesus Christ slash descendant, which will be played by Sam. Because if you can picture this movie works with Jesus being the villain.
I can't even argue.
Like, think about it. Think about it. He almost, like, literally when they were like, he almost conquered the world. I swear to God, I thought they were gonna go Jesus Christ, and I was like, no fucking way. And then when it said Genghis Khan, I was like, all right, whatever.
You
But,
give this movie too much credit, but yeah,
it deserves some thought. I'm just saying, this is in my perfect universe. The shadow fights Jesus.
I definitely see your vision on that one. I think that would have been an interesting route for them to go down. Does that mean the question is though, if Jesus had been the villain in this movie, would this have been pre or post 3-day circumcision Jesus?
Oh, post. Why is he so? That's why he's so pissed off.
Of course. That makes sense.
He's there to get his tip back, maybe.
Because they say Samson's hair gets cut, much like Jesus's foreskin got cut. So like you lose your power with the
there you go
of your cloth.
There you go.
And if they made this movie, Mel Gibson wouldn't have a fucking leg to stand on, nor Judy Ellat. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to be on a roll.
Maybe that is the Shadow, my friends, or at least the introduction to the Shadow. And now I turn it over to my two esteemed colleagues here. What were your thoughts on this very interesting motion picture?
I don't know, Sam. Do you feel like you're ready to go, or do you want me to just take it? How you feeling?
I appreciate anyone who has the goddamn fucking balls to cast Peter Boyle in a goddamn movie, because Peter Boyle is the goddamn GOAT, and I enjoyed every fucking second, much less Ian McKellen going fucking wild. And I had a very fun time with this. This movie is one of the fakest movies I've ever seen in my life, and this is also one of the movies that reminds me the most of Hudson Hawk, which is not a good thing in any way.
Yeah, I was about to say,
it is not.
That's ever been a compliment ever.
No.
But I had fun. I had a few brewskis. I sat back. I enjoyed it. I started to doze off at the end, so I stopped it.
You too?
Yes. And
Bro, I fell asleep. I woke up to the credits. I reversed it, and I realized I was 5 minutes away from the fucking end, and I still fell asleep. I was so mad. I was like, bro, I had to watch 5 minutes more of this shit. Anyways, go ahead.
I was about 30 out.
Oh, you're 30. Okay, I was 5. I was so pissed.
But yeah, I don't know. Very low mid-tier podcast pick.
Well, I can say this.
The grand scheme of it all, but
I'm glad we chose it.
Not a bad time at all.
I'm so glad because okay, so I want to say this. We're gonna start this out. I kept thinking this movie was the fucking Phantom with Billy Zane. And so imagine my confusion. And I looked for this everywhere, by the way, at Entertainment Mart. They didn't have a DVD, they didn't have a Blu-ray, they didn't have the fucking Laserdisc that we had saw. We had saw the Laserdisc for it. Yeah. Didn't have that. I looked through everything. They didn't have the VHS. I looked through all the VHSs. I was so pissed. So I ended up watching what Sam watched it on, which was fine, but I was pissed off. And it's funny because I realized I could have missed it because I was probably looking for purple and black, not green and black. Again, I even at one point thought I saw Billy Zane on the cover, and I went, "Not the Billy Zane movie I'm looking for." Billy Zane's not in this movie. It's the fucking Shadow.
Also, Daniel Baldwin's not in this movie, and I kept confusing him in the costume as Daniel Baldwin.
That was my Letterboxd review because I'm pretty sure Baldwin. William Baldwin.
Sorry,
but I'm pretty sure that is the Al Baldwin's shadow is William Baldwin. And also,
it looks like him.
All three of us are agents of the Shadow. Fuck! I lost my ring.
God damn it! So did I. Fuck.
They said never take it off, but like
the sun is shining,
and the ice is slippery.
There you go.
This movie,
The Shadow.
Honestly, I respect it in a certain amount of ways because they didn't really make comic book movies back then. They had Batman to kind of go off of, which this movie very much... Sam, you mentioned Darkman. This movie is literally Batman and Darkman just fucking like not even having a baby. It's like you took their heads and you just slammed them to fucking together.
It's
Until
dirty.
they
It's so
made the
funny you should
shadow.
mention that because I read literally Sam Raimi for years wanted to make a Shadow movie, and when they turned him down, that's why he made Darkman. So it's interesting that you say that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, still, like, this movie, I give it credit for its interestingness. I do think Batman Begins completely ripped off the beginning of it, and I couldn't tell if that was just because this movie ripped off, they ripped off Batman.
I
But-
think the Shadow was around the same.
The
time.
Shadow
I mean,
comic,
like, Batman was or they both were created in the 50s?
the 30s actually.
30s.
Yeah.
So the Shadow came first. So like Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, has said that he was very heavily inspired by the Shadow when he came up with Batman.
See, even more so, I would look at Christopher Nolan and be like, don't tell me you didn't watch this fucking movie and you didn't think that'd be a good opening for your Batman movie. Because he's literally got the big beard. He's in Asia doing the training. Don't get me fucking... And then he goes back and acts like he, like, where were you for 7 years? Don't fuck with me, Christopher Nolan.
Do not anger us. You do not wish to become an enemy of the 3 for 3 podcast.
We haven't had you on the podcast once. And
Yeah,
don't make us start doing that intentionally.
That will
Earliest
likely
comic.
change. There's a good chance I'm going to pick the Odyssey when it comes out, but we'll see.
I think my earliest comic is from '88.
So the Shadow, anyways, just remind me a lot of Batman. But also, I give it props for being a comic book movie when there wasn't a lot out. Sam,
Matt?
you were totally right. It
Back
looks
of
fake
this
as
comic?
hell. What?
That's the Phantom.
The back of the comic is the Phantom.
See, that's why there we go. We're all connecting the dots here. Anyways, I enjoyed it like Sam did. Is it dumb? Yes. Was I laughing a little bit too hard at things I shouldn't have? Fuck yes. Was I having a good time doing it? Yes. Are things dumb as hell in this movie? Yes. Did I not care? Pretty much. I didn't give a shit. You know what? It's a comic book movie. And I just kind of surrendered to it. And like the whole... I was really looking forward every time that Alec Baldwin became the Shadow. Like, I loved the scene where Peter Boyle's like trying not to look at him in the rearview mirror as he changes. I thought that shit was cool. The big eyes, the contacts in the eyes, that one scene where he's like putting his fucking like hand in his face and then rips it off. And then he goes into her room and she's like, well, what were you dreaming of? And she's like, I was dreaming I was on a beach naked and like the water came over my toes. And she's like, what'd you dream about? And he's like, I dreamt I was another person. I ripped my own face off and I was another person. That shit killed me. I was laughing so hard at that.
The part that
so
took
much
me out,
for it.
I just have to say the part that took me out, I had to rewind it. I just could not believe they did a joke this dark, was when also random Patrick Fischler jump scare, I have to say. As the guy who jumps off the building, like he jumps off the building, and as he's falling off the building in the background, it cuts to Alec Baldwin saying, everything's falling into place for me right now. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
And I love the fact that when he falls, you can see him hit the fucking like several things down. It's not like he just falls and bam, splats. It's like he hits like a couple of things, and I was like, yo, that was cool. I was like, props for that thought. And also the CGI in it, while it was like bad, did remind, we're speaking of Sam Raimi here, some of the shots of it going through the city reminded me of Spider-Man, the first one, with the web slinging and shit, just with the way the camera moved through the city. So I was thinking that too.
This would have been a perfect, like if Sam Raimi had done this is right up his alley, this kind of material. But
I respect Mulcahy for doing all of this. Like, I think he is goated for this, and low-key, like, because granted, did he succeed? Not necessarily, but he succeeded in certain parts, in my opinion. He was doing shit nobody was willing to do. Yeah. And what year was this?
94.
Same year as The Mask.
Yeah.
So we can't say The Mask paved the way in the sense, like, this literally came out the same year they were trying to do some technological shit. So, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I didn't hate the movie. Is it great? No. But did I have a lot of fun with it? And should everyone watch it at some point? Yes. Should some people watch The Phantom? No. Don't watch The Phantom. Sorry. I was ready to shit on this movie because I thought it was The Phantom, and then when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is different. Never mind. I think I've seen this halfway.
This reminds me of that time on the old podcast when you confused Adventures in Babysitting with Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
See, valid points all around. Because Sam proved my point. Thank you, Sam.
I just remember it was like, yeah, that was funny. But what was I gonna say? Oh, so yeah, this, as I said, I picked this because I wanted to continue the tradition of having a Russell Mulcahy movie on every season. Because the thing about him is every one of his movies that we've had on the show, and I'll throw Highlander in there too, they're all the same. That, Ricochet, and Resurrection are all the same in that there's a lot of dumb shit in them, some things that don't make any sense, some illogical fucking plot points in writing. But god damn it, you just don't even care when you're watching it because they're so goddamn fun and have so much goodness in them, and they are very well made, and they're just so likable. His movies are all just so innately likable. It's like, I remember when we talked about Resurrection, I was like, is this a Seven knockoff? Absolutely. But it's one of the better ones that I've seen, and it does like a lot of good things and a lot of creative, things in that movie, in spite of it being a knockoff. Like, I had a lot of fun with that movie. I loved Ricochet. Highlander's a lot of fun. So I was like, okay, so Russell Mulcahy doing a superhero movie. That's going to be fun. This was the first one I've seen where I was like, all right, this is just not a good movie. This is just bad. I don't particularly care for this one very much. There are parts of it that are, like, again, it's well made as far as like how it's directed, like great, production design, great cinematography, great, well directed, all that kind of stuff. But there's no one I really blame. Like, I don't blame Russell Mulcahy for how it turned out. I don't even necessarily blame David Koepp. It's just like, it's one of those many. Say what?
I always blame David Koepp, but continue.
These days,
I was kind of thinking that too. I was trying to figure out if David Koepp had written anything that I liked a lot. So I was like, honestly, I think most of the movies he watches are like,
David Koepp.
Okay,
David Koepp in the 90s was a god. Carlito's Way, Jurassic Park, Spider-Man. I mean, like,
but
bro
didn't he do like that Winter's Tale movie?
Yeah, like post, I would say post 2005 or 2002, David Koepp has not made a single good thing. I challenge you to find a single good thing he's written like post Spider-Man.
I imagine
he didn't do that. That was Akiva Goldsman.
Zathura.
Okay, he did co-write Angels and Demons, which is not a great movie, but it's a guilty pleasure for me.
Co-wrote.
That's the only one.
I really do like Premium Rush, but
but yeah. So, but I don't even necessarily. I don't.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Sorry.
I don't necessarily blame him, even though he's the most like obvious culprit. I blame. It's one of those many 90s studio movies that you can tell, you can just see the fingerprints of all the other writers that rewrote it, and you can see all the fucking cuts that they made. This movie, clearly, to me, I couldn't look up anything proving this, but it's so obvious when you watch it. They cut so much shit out of this movie, as they did so many times with big studio movies in the 90s. Where it's so weird the way executives thought back then, where they're just like, it doesn't have to be the least bit coherent. The story doesn't have to make any sense. The pacing can be absolutely fucking terrible. All people want is to just see images and hear sounds. That's it. If we just give them an hour and 45 minutes. if we
audience, we know no better.
That's what they think. At this time, that's what they thought. They're like, if we just give them literally anything, they will watch it. And it's like, okay, guys, this movie bombed critically and financially, so clearly you're not right about that. And I'm watching the movie and I'm like, this is completely incoherent. Like, what the fuck? They don't do anything to show like the training he goes through to become a better person, how he sets himself up as the Shadow, how the fuck he got his powers, how his powers even work. Yeah, again, to me, it's very obvious that they cut this thing down a lot, like absolutely goddamn nothing about the plot or the characters or how their powers work or anything. Anything is explained.
He can cloud the minds of men, Jackson. He can cloud the minds of men. That's
Oh,
all
God
you
damn
need to
it.
know.
It's
And
this.
then it's weird.
And apparently he
because,
can wield guns.
and then it's weird because it's like fucking some of the effects in this movie, like him peeling his face off, and some of the other like are great. I'm like, whoa, these are some great effects. And then some of them are just terrible. That goddamn knife was one of the worst effects I've seen in a minute. That shit was so bad.
I
And
did
then
love the it's that knife line.
and I'll give them credit too. There were a couple of moments where that scene where he meets the Khan descendant for the first time, where they're like in the middle of like a tense scene, and he's just like, "I love your tie. Where did you get it?" And he's just like, "Oh, I got it from this place." Apparently, that was apparently their way of making fun of how the old radio show used to have advertisements in the middle. Like, and I was like, that's kind of clever. I kind of appreciate that.
Honestly, I didn't get what it's Sam or Jackson. I mean, you know how you said I give this movie too much credit.
Yeah.
I was giving this movie way too much credit for that scene. You know why?
Why?
I straight up thought that Alec Baldwin was playing like mind games with him to like not let him into his mind, like to be like like closed off to like pivot from like thing to thing. See, that I was giving this movie too much credit. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that there needs to be people like me giving this movie too much credit.
No, I admire you for trying to like see this for
that
more
was
than
literally
what it is.
what I thought when he said that too, because I remember that scene and I was like, oh, they're trying to like have him play mind. I thought Russell McKay was just doing something that probably would get lost in translation, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm picking up on it. Apparently not, because yeah, that's not at all.
And then there's just the fact that again and look, it's a comic book movie. It's overly stylistic. It's cheesy. I get that. I'm willing to suspend disbelief for certain things. One scene that pissed me off is when he's drowning in the fucking tank, and in like 2 goddamn seconds, she drives halfway across the fucking city to get him out of the thing, and I'm just like, what are we doing with this
Small town.
dumbass? Yes, it's not the big apple, it's the small apple. It ain't that fucking big.
She knows
You
the
really
shortcuts. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. She knows the streets.
And you know what else I'm saying? If she had opened that door, she would have been fucking dead. The amount of water that would have came upon her, she would have cracked her head on the concrete so fucking hard that shit would have been like a watermelon between some strong woman's legs.
And I would say that she was not the first blonde actress that Alec Baldwin made wet, but you can't convince me Kim Basinger had one single orgasm while she was married to him. Even though they have a daughter, she faked it.
That's hilarious. Sorry.
That's how children
Shame
are
on me for
born.
that.
I don't know what you mean. That's how children are conceived, through non-orgasm sex.
Yes.
Yes.
I was looking for the Alec Baldwin joke in that one. I'm over here trying to make a fucking Glenn Ross joke. I can't do it.
Their child was born out of hatred and conceived out of hatred.
Indeed.
Anyone involving,
which is why it's named Ireland.
Hates themselves.
Which is why their daughter's named Ireland.
Which is also
that was a good one, Jackson.
A tie-in to
I'm trying not to laugh too hard.
To our next pick after this movie, whenever we are ready.
What's the next? What can shadow this movie, Sam?
Well, I have to say this real quick. I did look up. I thought this was interesting. After I finished the movie, I listened to the first episode of the radio show, where Orson Welles played the Shadow, by the way.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking, you piqued my interest. And also, I want to shout this out. Miss Fraker, who is, R.I.P., love her to death. Thank God she showed us radio plays and made us do that shit, if you remember those things.
Absolutely.
But anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, I looked that up. He played the Shadow. Agnes Moorehead played Margot. His whole group at the Mercury Theater did the 30s radio show. So I listened to the first episode. It's pretty damn good. I was like, all right, I want a good version of this to get into, and I listened to it, and it was great. And it was cool because Well, and here's the thing. In the movie, see, because I knew that. I knew Orson Welles voiced the Shadow. And then, I guess as paying homage, they just completely rip off the climax of the lady from Shanghai at the end there with the fucking mirrors and shit. And I'm just like, okay, so there's that. And then the effects in that scene were fucking terrible. But then I read that apparently they, ran out of money at the last minute or some shit. And so they didn't have time to do it right. But still, it's just fucking weird. Like, I was trying so hard to get into this movie. I really was. I was really trying to just like turn my brain off to all the dumb shit. But I'm like, okay, here's the problem though. Unlike the other Russell Mulcahy movies I've seen, it's not just that there are a few dumb things. It's that the goddamn plot is completely fucking just almost incoherent and it's boring. And it's like there's clearly so much shit like exploring his past, exploring his powers, exploring her past and her powers, and all kinds of like all the most interesting character shit and plot shit that like clearly was in here at some point just got cut out. And because the studio didn't think it was fucking interesting to the audience. And I'm just like, okay.
I appreciate you putting that on the studio and not Russell Mulcahy, though.
I really think it was their fault.
You could have put it on him, like again, because we got no evidence on either basis. But I do kind of see what you're saying, and so I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, we're not putting it on him.
In this era in particular, in the 90s, it was so common for studios to do that kind of shit. I mean, like, every 90s studio movie, not everyone, but so many of them, that's just how it was. And, I'm watching it and I'm just like, and because again, Russell Mulcahy has had this problem before. I mean, we all know about Highlander 2, what a goddamn train wreck that was, where they completely took that away from him.
I have never seen Highlander 1, 2, or whatever.
Matt, watch
I've
one.
Never seen.
Please.
I own one. I own the first one. Never seen it.
The first one, in spite of its problems, is such a fun movie.
I'm just gonna watch the Henry Cavill one. sorry. I had to say that, and then I had to do a straight face.
I forgot about that.
Like, I'm not fucking around.
We'll get into Henry Cavill soon, you fuck.
But yeah, I don't blame, and I think it's good that we all kind of don't blame Russ. I mean, I assume we don't.
I don't. I don't. No. Personally, I don't like. I agree with what you're saying. A little bit, but I just kind of like some movies. I'm just willing to like literally say like. On some other movies, I would totally judge them on the plate that you're, the tray that you're judging them. This one, I'm willing to just throw the tray up in the air, say fuck it, like walk away, and just be like, I had a good time.
I think it's well directed.
And I don't think you were saying you haven't said anything that's untrue. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying I can personally just throw that away. But what you're saying is valid and should be said.
I wanted to so much. I wanted to throw it away so much. It's just. I could not get into the goddamn story. It was so all over the place. It was just like, it's not like, again, like Ricochet or Resurrection where there are problems, but I can get past it. It's just like, no, it didn't work. Nothing about it worked. Like all of the most interesting parts of the story, they just cut out. And it was just about like all of the parts that like should have been the more filler stuff. I don't know.
Well, that's where I actually would retract my statement because as y'all know, first and foremost, scripts are way longer than the actual end up product. So maybe David Kep had that stuff in there and they just cut the wrong thing.
I'm telling you.
So, I don't think the amount of star power in this movie would have signed up for it if it were this movie, if that makes sense.
I agree.
I don't
100%.
think Alec Baldwin would have signed up for it. I don't think Peter Boyle would have signed up for it. I don't think fucking Jonathan Winters or Ian McKellen would have signed up for this shit had there not been like a good reason. Tim Curry, had there not been a good reason. And then they got screwed by a studio, which, again, that's why I think, Jackson, your point makes so much sense.
Because, again...
And also, can we also give them props for not coming out with that, too? Like, apparently, since you can't find anything out about it, can't we say, like, hey, good on them for not, like, complaining?
If I dug really deep into it, I feel like maybe I could find something.
We'd be in reporter status at that point where you're, like, talking to crew members and shit.
Yeah.
Who weren't willing to talk about it at the time.
Right.
Or, that would get deep. But like, the fact you can't find any articles on the first 2 or 3 Google pages, I'm assuming, like, that's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Or at least IMDb trivia. That would be kind of thrown the fuck in there.
That's mainly where I looked, was there in Wikipedia, and I couldn't find anything. Like I'm saying, if I Google searched
pretty good about it too, I will say that.
If I Google searched it, maybe I could find something, maybe not. But in any
Well,
case,
nobody
I
cares
think
about this movie. That's the issue.
that's the
No offense.
problem. Yeah, that's the
No
problem.
offense
It's
to
like
you. Yeah, like just
if this were a bigger movie, it might be easier to find something out about it. But it's not. It didn't do well when it came out. It's got a cult following now, but it's not. It's not great. I didn't really. I was disappointed because I was expecting it to be like the other Russell Mulcahy movies we've had on, where in spite of its problems, I enjoyed it, but it just did not work. And I appreciate the production design. I appreciate the direction, the costumes, a lot of the shots. That fucking shot where it's like panning down from the ceiling and it looks like it's like the carpet or whatever, and then it's like it's him and he stands up and everything and he's like dressed in the same pattern. That shit, I was like, god damn, that was crazy. Like, again, prowess, like definitely technical prowess, like behind the camera. And hell, a lot of the performances are good. Ian McKellen and Tim Curry's accents are not, but their performances are.
I didn't
like,
give a shit about Tim Curry's accent. I thought he did an amazing job, and I fucking hated him the whole time. And I was like,
yep.
honestly, I think he's one of the people I would like to do a special on, like a Tim Curry special, because obviously
would
we
be
got to
fun.
go from Rocky Horror all the way to Up. But like, he changed himself completely from Rocky Horror, which is so funny to me because none of the other people did from that movie. He is the only person who had a life after that one, and it's because he does not look a hair like he did when he did that one.
Very true.
Pennywise, he's under makeup, sure, but not a lot of makeup. But then like that Hunt for the Red October, this fucking Home Alone 2,
Muppets Treasure
like
Island.
bro is still there throughout everyone's life, but looks so different. And I don't know, I just want to, but also every movie he acts different. Like I couldn't compare this to Home Alone 2. Couldn't compare this to Hunt for the, well, maybe a little bit Home Alone 2. But
Tim
Hunt for the
Tim
Red
Curry, even at his most over the top, he is goated in everything he's in.
His over the top is his best, which is very
is.
rare in my opinion. Because
Even his
people say
like
Nick Cage
even
is
his
over the
kind
top
of
for this. It's not.
even his kind of bad performances like in Congo, he's still like the fucking highlight of that movie pretty much, as bad as it is.
So that's why
But-
I was so happy to see him in this, and like Peter Boyle too, because I feel like Peter Boyle, underrated actor. Honestly, he's
Yeah.
kind of typecast, and honestly, I loved him in Everybody Loves Raymond. That's how I knew him.
I'm actually
But then
just
young-
I'm about to start watching that show.
Wait, have you seen King of Queens? Okay, you're gonna have to find this out the hard way, but I'm gonna tell you now. Just easy.
They're in the same universe.
Yes, and Raymond came second. I think, if I remember
No.
correctly,
Raymond started in 96. Everybody Loves Raymond started in 98. I mean, King of Queens started in 98.
Well, either way, they're in the same universe. I watched them the opposite way. Still love Everybody Loves Raymond. But there's also a third show you might want to know about. Hard detour. Decker. Dr. Decker with Tim
I've heard of it.
Ted fucking Danson.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the same universe because they do crossover episodes. And then... No, that's George Lopez. Never mind. I was going to do the George Lopez, Freddie Prinze Jr. sitcom crossover episode, but we'll get there eventually.
But yes,
Just
Peter
saying
Boyle.
That,
Peter Boyle's
Peter
a great
Boyle
actor.
is amazing.
I can't
Also,
emphasize enough, just real quick, Jonathan Goddamn Winters being in this movie is so random.
I
and
felt
so
terrible. I felt terrible. I felt like he deserved more. I was like, you
He
get a
did.
cast.
He
I was like,
did.
bro,
He
you
was
get a
wasted.
cast. Like, yeah, he's doing a great job. Like, he is killing it. But like, honestly, I could have seen any other dude. I could have seen M. Emmett Walsh in this fucking role.
I
and it
hate
would've
to
been
say
fine.
it, but you're right. And I was like, okay, I love that you cast him in this movie, and he's doing a great job. Even in the littlest moments, like when he walks away from the table and that little eye roll that he does was fucking hilarious. But I'm like, dude, and that's what, to your point earlier, I feel like he would not have agreed to do this part unless there was a more substantial role for him originally that he had agreed to. And then by the time they get to it, his role's been cut. He's in like 4 scenes and he doesn't really do anything. So yeah, I think there's something to that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very interesting point. And this doesn't make me enjoy the movie less, like us talking about this. I think this makes me enjoy it more to a sense because I'm like, there really was a lot to this movie that I think people haven't really figured out yet. And maybe that's the true mystery of the Shadow is like, not just what is the Shadow, how does he come to be, but like, how did this fucking movie end up the way it is, and also have the people in it that it had? And maybe we can do a 3-for-3 investigative report onto the Shadow. That could be that would actually be a good Patreon thing.
That's legit. But yeah, I'm despite not loving this movie, I'm glad I picked it just so we could, discuss another Russell Mulcahy movie and just get because like, look, are all of his movies great? No, but I mean, he's an underrated fucking director who I'm happy we have shined a spotlight on because I appreciate the man. Everything I've seen, including this, I think there's a lot of good work he did here, even if the final product did not turn out great. I think, again, he's a very interesting director. I've loved most of his work or enjoyed it. And yeah, so happy to keep that tradition going. I assume next season Matt is finally going to pick Give Him Home Alone, as he's been teasing for a long time.
I don't think you're going to love that movie, but I think you'll have a better time with it because I'm going to forewarn you. There is no studio interference with this one. This one's just... We've said a lot about The Shadow.
Yes, quite a bit. And I think it's been interesting. And I regret nothing. The Shadow knows what evil lurks in the hearts of these three men. Always.
I have a question for fucking Matt Patterson. Do you know what a nemesis means? It's a righteous infliction of retribution manifested by an appropriate agent, personified in this case by a horrible cunt. Me. Because I'm about to fucking beat the shit out of you for picking one of the greatest goddamn movies that Guy Ritchie's ever made. Not his best, not my favorite, but one of the greatest he's ever made.
Well, I don't know what other movie you're talking about, Sam, because I will agree with you. I picked one of the best, if not the best, Guy Ritchie movie ever made. And goddamn, I will not put on this fucking earth this one proclamation that this may be one of the best movies ever made, because when I watch it, time turns into dust. I blink, this movie's over, I'm mad it's over, and however much time has passed, and I don't give a fuck. Because I am so happy to be in this world that this man has created. And I am so enthralled in each of these characters that I just fucking I want to put it on again. It's one of those movies you just want to put on again. God damn it. In my opinion. We may differ. I don't think so. I'll be surprised if we do. But man, if this movie isn't such a fun, insane ride, I can't even begin to do as we say on this podcast, which is picture this. I can't begin to picture this because there's so much going on. Basically, at the heart of this movie, you got a diamond. The perfect diamond. Yes, I have my DVD somewhere. I did not pull it out because I watched it on Netflix, but that is the DVD. You got a diamond. It's a perfect diamond. You got Frankie Four Fingers, played by Benicio del Toro. He stole the diamond. He's holding it for Dennis Farina's character, whose name I cannot remember. Not all the names I'll remember. My bad.
Cousin Avi.
Cousin Avi. And I love... We're going to get into it. So I'm setting the scene here because I want to talk about every bit of this movie. I love it. Cousin Avi. And he is supposed to bring him back to America. But what happens? Well, he gets a little tip. He gets a little tippy tip about this little boxing match that's unlicensed. And he's like, I think I might be interested on this. And of course, he is a gambling addict. And of course, he happens to be buying a gun from none other than this guy, Boris the Blade. And who is the big, bald fuck's cousin, or friend, But anyways, he gets a tippy tip, and he wants to place a bet. And guess who's robbing the bookies that he's placing this bet is these three guys who own a pawn shop. One of the dudes from The Walking Dead.
Lenny James, my man.
James, yes. And so they're getting robbed, and so he gets caught up. But guess what? There's also these people involved in the boxing match. Jason Statham, Stephen Graham. They're the boxing promoters. They got their Gorgeous George. They're about to they're about to have fall in the fight. But guess what? Gorgeous George gets his shit rocked by a pikey, played by Brad Pitt, who they're just trying to buy a caravan off of. Just a caravan.
Just a caravan.
And the fucking other things, and you really, the caravan just doesn't really fucking do it, you know what I mean? And you fight, and now you're caught up in the mob, and Jesus Christ, and you don't fuck with a pikey. But guess what? There's Bricktop. He's the one that Jason Statham and Stephen Graham are in with, these boxing promoters. And Bricktop expects this man to fall in a certain round, and guess what? Because Gorgeous George got his shit rocked by none other than Brad Pitt. He takes it whenever he does. And because you never trust a pikey. And now, Jason Statham and Stephen Graham are caught up in some shit. And so, they have to get him to actually throw the fight. But a lot of shit happens in between all this. A lot of these stories start interconnecting. We introduce Vinnie Jones as Bullet Tooth Tony, who is set down to track the people who robbed the bookie because the bookie is owned by none other than Bricktop himself. And so, the story of interwoven plot lines begins, and you get the movie Snatch, which, like my pick last week, starts at the end and ends at the beginning. And the entire time, you have no fucking clue how it's going to turn out. And that is my so far pitch for this movie, which there's a lot I've missed, but I could go on for hours. I could do a Beau's Afraid shortcuts type narration with this one. I fucking love this movie. I was worried a little bit that I was going to dislike it going back into it. And part of me in the beginning was like, oh, is this just like English Pulp Fiction or some shit? No, it's not. Honestly, this movie fucking kills it in every sense. I love every moment. I love every character. I love every fucking line. I feel like, again, when I blink, this movie just happens and it's done. And you're like, oh, I've spent like an hour and a half, and you pause and it's 50 minutes. And then in that 50 minutes, another 50 minutes passes and you're done with the movie and you're like, what the fuck?
Matt, you're speaking exactly why I'm so fucking pissed right now.
I don't care because I love this movie. I will fight for it. I will put on my brass knuckles. I think it's one of the better movies of the 90s.
No matter what, bro. Bare knuckle brawl in this house only.
I love Vinnie Jones. I love Dennis Farina. Those two as a fucking comedy duo, unmatched on any circumstance, no demand. They should have never been in the same car, ever in their life. Like, never in Vinnie Jones and fucking Dennis Farina's life should those two men, given their actual real-life pasts, been in a fucking car together on a Guy Ritchie set. On anybody's set. Yet they were. And guess what? They gave us history with their fucking lines. I would watch a whole movie with them together. Bullet Tooth Tony and Cousin Avi just taking on the world. I would watch that shit because I love them so much. Fucking them, the scene where Tony has Ewan Bremer in the fucking car window and he's dragging him. And he's like, don't you think this is a bit much, Tony? At first he's like, this is creative. And then he's like, eventually like, all right, are we going to draw attention to us? And then Tony just goes, I don't know. And then he just lets him go. Fucking love it. Fucking love this movie. Hands down. Banger of a movie. I'm so glad I chose this for the podcast. I haven't seen this in so long either that I forgot Jason Statham was in it until like a good minute. And I was like, oh yeah, he is in this movie. And
I was very confused because you said like, oh, Jason Statham's not in this one. And I'm watching it and I'm like, he's the main fucking character of the movie. What was he talking about?
That's how long I haven't seen this fucking movie in Jackson, is I forgot Jason Statham was like the main person. And then I went, oh yeah, he is. He's literally him and Stephen Graham. What am I fucking thinking about? But it's like he doesn't do his action bullshit that
Fucking
everyone's
Jamaican
expecting him
ass
to.
Stephen
He
Graham.
fights back, sure, but he doesn't do like the karate shit that he's like known for. And bro's funny as hell. This is what we were talking about with Spy. Jason Statham has that comedy in him. He just, you got to give him the right lines. And even in the action movies, he does it, but it's like hard to. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to open up the floor to y'all in case y'all didn't like it as much as I did, but we will find out.
Matt, fuck you.
Sam, I'm very curious what your bone to pick is here.
It's all positive because Matt showed me this movie in high school and it changed my goddamn fucking
That was part
life.
of our Brad Pitt becoming like
Yeah.
an iconic person.
Right
in our
after
lives.
12 Monkeys, I think we saw this, and so it just really kind of went crazy.
90s
And,
Brad Pitt's untouched.
shout out John Murphy, one of the greatest composers to do it. Hearing him now in Superman and whatnot, but back then he was doing Snatch and Lock, Stock. And
Jason Fleming too. Sorry, I had to,
yes,
I had to bring his
yes,
ass up.
that's my
I love
point,
him
man.
from
I'm so
League of
fucking
Extraordinary
mad.
Gentlemen. Jason
Because
Fleming.
everything you said about this movie is exactly right. And he got so fucking, like, there. He came back with The Gentleman, which is his best movie, in my opinion. This is second underneath it. And then
I
you
agree.
Okay.
follow
Okay.
with
That's
Wrath
fair.
of
That's
Man,
fair. I
which
ain't
is
even
my
argue.
favorite Guy Ritchie movie, but it is horrible compared to The Gentleman in this. And it's so upsetting to just watch him nosedive in the last 6 movies he's made since The Gentleman. And
Unfortunately,
it's
all I
just
see
so
that is
upsetting.
a man with a family and a cash to check. That's all I see with these movies, unfortunately. And I hate to say it because he had the balls to the wall in the 90s where he didn't have a family. He just had himself. He had Madonna, for a minute. Thank you. We got to talk. I'm going to shout out the Driver short series if anybody knows what I'm talking about.
The BMW, yeah.
Yes.
Clive Owen.
He was one of them. That whole short series string is amazing. They should bring him back.
I forgot he did one of those.
He did. Yeah, and Madonna was in it. That's why I know. And Marilyn Manson and
It's so frustrating.
James Brown.
Because in every
One of the main things we can
Marilyn Manson and James Brown were the different one. My bad.
One of the main things we can thank Guy Ritchie for is ruining Madonna's acting career after decades of people trying to do it and failing. But yes, as
Body
you were
of
saying,
Evidence with Willem Dafoe is a great movie. And you could.
I couldn't give you a Madonna movie that I liked.
It fucking.
I know because there isn't one.
You can
She did
literally-
other than A League of Their Own. There's not a good one.
And
Was
everything
she in
he's
that?
made since The Gentleman.
Yep.
He has had moments that are so fucking close to the magic that Snatch created, and it just upsets me. So
That's the word for it, Sam, is the magic. This movie is fucking magic. That is a great word for it. I feel like I'm going to double down on that
this
one.
movie through and
This
through.
movie
It's
is
one of the best
magic.
heist movies you could ever fucking watch. I think even if you have someone who doesn't like heist movies, you fucking show them this and they will enjoy it.
Because it's like not even just a heist movie. You got like 8 different categories this movie can
Jamaican
fall
ass
into.
Stephen Graham partnered with Jason Statham. Like, give it.
Stephen Graham being a fucking goat well before he he got the goat status. Being a
This
fucking
is-
goat in this one.
Easily one of his earliest like big parts in something too. I was kind of shocked to see him in this because I'm like, God damn.
And we
This
got
is early for
Scene
him.
where the
sit down
Pikeys
and
are
tell
like
him
arguing
something.
over him and he just starts fucking crying. I was like, no words were said. This dude is stealing the show. Like,
Completely. It's just mind blowing how fucking great in every facet of this movie that he went all for. And then where is it now, man? You're just casting Henry Cavill and Jake fucking Gyllenhaal and all your goddamn fucking bullshit. And I'm
nobody
fucking
talks.
mad.
Who has brought up Snatch in like the last recent years? I haven't heard about this movie in a minute. I'm kind of pissed off. I'm like,
It's
this
actually
movie needs to
leaving
get
Netflix
its...
this week, so we picked.
I
it
did.
up.
That's why I was happy. I was gonna mention it to you guys, and I was like, oh no, we got time. But still, people need to talk about this movie again. This needs to be like, we need to bump this back up on the list, in my opinion. But Jackson, I'll let you take it away. This is your first time, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Um,
this is even better. That's why I want to hear.
So funny enough, yeah, I'm sure I've mentioned this to you guys over the years, but for a really long time, I was not a fan of Guy Ritchie because I was only familiar with his shitty later work. The first movie I ever saw from him was The Man from Uncle, which I was very much not a fan of. And I was just, it's funny, it was actually very well, not quite as much as Paul Thomas Anderson, but it was similar in the sense that the first movie I saw from both of them was something I did not enjoy. And my reaction was kind of like, all right, fuck this. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Because again, I didn't really know much about him at the time I saw Man from Uncle. And then, he'd made like King Arthur and Aladdin, and just every time he had a movie that came out, it was something that looked like shit. And everyone kept telling me, like, no, you got to go back and see his earlier work. You got to watch like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and all of his Sherlock Holmes, all of his earlier stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then before I even got to that point, all I had seen was The Man from Uncle, right? Then The Gentleman came out. I don't even remember. I think the only reason I saw that was because I had my Regal app at the time. Because I don't know why the fuck else I would have gone. Because I was not, again, I was kind of against anything Guy Ritchie made at that time. Because his last few movies had been turds. And so I went to go see that. That movie blew me the fuck away with how I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? This is amazing. Like, all right, maybe I was wrong about this dude. I don't know. It's like kind of 1-to-1 now. It's like Man from Uncle over here, Gentleman over here, and goddamn, this was great. And then never saw another movie from him for a long time. So this is my third Guy Ritchie film. And I've been wanting to get into classic Guy Ritchie for a while so I can finally understand why he's so beloved. And fuck, wow, goddamn, did I love this movie. I mean, I get it. I'm starting to get it now. I'm really starting to get it. I'm like, okay, I get why this guy is so beloved. I get why, people keep telling me, no, go back and watch his earlier shit. I really want to watch Lock, Stock now. I really want to watch Sherlock Holmes. I really want to watch all of his other early stuff. Because if it's anything like this, and I've heard Lock, Stock is very similar to this, then I'm in.
Rolla! You got to see Rock and Rolla too. It's not like, I would say it's on the lower side. It's near Revolver, but still not bad. Like fun. You're going to have fun.
Man, this is one of those movies where I'm just like, I don't see how it would be possible for any person to not enjoy this movie. What a goddamn blast from start to finish. I had such a ball with this. I mean, every second of this movie, I was just in. This is exactly my kind of movie. And here's the thing. I didn't even think about this, Matt, until you kind of like made me think of it a minute ago. Every one of the storylines in this movie could have carried a whole movie. Like, I would have watched a whole movie about any one of these groups of characters, but all 8 of them are in one movie. And they don't interrupt each other. They don't overcrowd each other. It's just like, wow. Like, you get one of these and that would be enough. You get like 8 different sets of characters in one movie that are all this interesting. And that's one of the reasons why it works so much. Because I love Jason Statham and Stephen Graham. I love honestly, my favorite group, I don't know what it was for you guys. For me, it was Lenny James and the other 2 dudes. They were my favorites. Like, Tyrone is the GOAT. He's the best character in the movie. No one can convince me otherwise. He is the best. And just the 3 of them, they were my favorites. And that was a great story. I love Boris the Blade. I love Bricktop. I mean, I hate him, but I love him. Mickey,
the best line in that movie, in my opinion, is when Jason Statham, he tells Jason Statham, he's like, put the kettle on. And he's like, you take sugar or creamer? And he's like, no thanks. Or you take sugar? No thanks. I'm sweet enough. Like, fucking brilliant delivery, brilliant line to begin with. Is like, oh my God. Like, you could see, I feel like it's one of those movies where you can almost see everything working at once, if that makes sense. Like, you can see the writing working, you can see the direction working, and you can see the actors just fucking like home part, like ballpark every line. Like, they're like, bam. Well, like, there's not one line in this movie where like they fucked that up.
And credit to Guy Ritchie for being able to writing so many banger fucking lines and making it so goddamn funny for so much of it. That's the thing I remember about The Gentleman too, was it was like really funny at parts, like, and just so, I don't know, witty and clever, and all of the characters are so weird and eccentric, and even the ones that are awful, you just love to watch. You know, like
Jackson, like
Bricktop was such a bastard, but I just loved
Alan
watching him.
Ford is my favorite person in this movie, but I feel like you saw his return to form with the gentleman in such a heavy way because after Snatch, it really swept away, kind of changed him. And
Was Alan Ford in The Gentleman?
No, Alan, you just
Oh.
brought up Bricktop. Alan Ford's
Oh.
the GOAT and my favorite player.
Yeah.
You asked who you kind of favoritize within the situations, but like Rock and Roll and everything, Revolver is great, but they're not this. And I think The Gentleman is the closest he's ever been to this than he has since.
Well, to your point, Jackson, my original favorites back when I first watched it were the three, Lenny, James, and his two dudes. They were the ones I wanted to watch the most. The second time I watched it, it was Jason Statham and Stephen Graham. And then this time for me, like I had mentioned earlier, it's fucking Cousin Avi and Bulletooth Tony. Those were the stars of the show for me this time. And I feel like that's one of those movies where you can come back to it like periodically. Like if you wait a couple of years and you watch it again, you kind of get to view it a little differently. Like maybe you're with the Pikeys this time. Like honestly, I still stand by this. Guy Ritchie's fucking shots with Brad Pitt, like all of his shots with Brad Pitt. Like for some reason those were shot different at some points. Maybe I'm wrong, but like the shots where he's watching his mind of the caravan burn, the shots where they're fighting, and the shots where he's getting drunk after his mom's dead, and then the shots where he's in the fucking like fighting ring and getting shot. Those seem like a separate movie to me. Like the way he just like I think down to the frame rate, honestly, I think is the truth.
Oh, that's what I think.
Like,
they shot it at a higher. All the fight scenes at a higher frame rate,
but also like him getting drunk, like with like near the end, like that. Those shots of him just like going crazy, mixed, and then him like with the caravan. They're not the same exact vibe, but I think they're shot at a different frame rate. Like we're talking, like they're like super hyper realistic, and I just fucking love it. And I think Brad Pitt in the 90s was on a roll, and this is one of his roles, like 12 Monkeys, Fight Club, this. Do they have similar vibes in the intensity? Sure, they're all intense performances. 7 Years in Tibet probably would even roll into that too.
But it's almost
like Homeboy is different. Like I did not see Brad Pitt when I watched this movie. I don't think that's
no.
Brad Pitt. I'm like, this is who the fuck is this?
I gotta admire this one
with some blue eyes.
That's one thing I really admire about Brad Pitt is, unlike some of his contemporaries, who I love, like George Clooney and certain other people, Tom Cruise, like mega movie stars like those guys. Unlike them, Brad Pitt is willing a lot of the time to not necessarily be front and center, not necessarily be the lead. He will be like a weird ass supporting. Say what?
Sorry.
Well, that was more a fucking vanity cameo,
Sorry.
That was a self-serving. That was more just a really. That was just 12 Years a Slave. We're not cutting that because it's a self-serving.
We're not cutting that.
We're not cutting that because
you fucked up. You're to live with it, Sam.
Well, no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, that's a cameo. It was a very self-serving cameo. I felt
tell
like,
other people's stories as long as he's in there somewhere.
But it's whatever. But he's willing to be like a weird, quirky, fucking supporting character, not necessarily the lead. Whereas, some of his contemporaries may not be as willing. They always got to be the leading man. And not only is he a weird, quirky, supporting character, you can't fucking understand a goddamn word he's saying. And
we got to point this out. So if you have the DVD, they have his own subtitles just for Brad Pitt.
Just for him.
And just for him. It's literally only his lines, and they tell you exactly what he's saying.
That's amazing.
Yes. I was like, genius marketing, by the way.
The story I read, I don't know if it's true, but the story I read is that the reason Guy Ritchie came up with that character and with that accent was an intentional response to people who said that the accents in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels were too thick and hard to understand. So he basically just said, like, all right, fuck you. Like, you think that's hard to understand? Listen to this.
Yep.
Bro's a genius. I respect
that's why, I'm glad you're at this point, Jackson, because I'd already seen Snatch and Lock, Stock and all that stuff before he started doing Man from U.N.C.L.E. and all that bullshit. And honestly, Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2, bangers of a movie.
I'd like
Like,
to see those.
yeah, you're gonna have fun.
Matt,
Those
you're
are not
talking
bad
about the
movies.
frame rate of the
He
fight.
did like Man from Uncle. I didn't hate, but that's the start of his descent. And then Gentleman was a back rise, and now he's got the Gentleman TV show, which I haven't seen, but he did do that.
I heard it was good.
So I would watch that. But
Never watched Fountain of
and he
Youth.
oh he
You
did
have
he
any
did
type
Mobland.
of sanity for yourself.
Mobland. Guy Ritchie directed the episode of Mobland. That's a good
I didn't
TV
know
show.
that.
We're talking about TV shows here, unfortunately, but Mobland's a good one. I think Guy Ritchie still has it in him. I think he literally, that's where I give him the credit,
There's a
is like, or like I
specific-
give him the back away, is
There's a-
I'm seeing a man with a family doing things for a paycheck, but still doing what he loves and still maintaining relevancy. And so I'm just like, I can forgive you for that. Unlike Tarantino doing Fortnite. That seems like a major stab in the back to his own self. Like he didn't stab his fans in the back. I couldn't give a fuck. He stabbed himself in the back. Bro, there's a difference between Guy Ritchie, who's like, I can morally see where you're coming from doing these movies. You're doing it for a paycheck. You're having fun. You're making your own thing. Fine. I'm doing exactly the opposite of everything I said I was going to do. Guy Ritchie never fucking mentioned a word about that shit, by the way. Tarantino did. And then just stabbed himself in the back, and you're just like, I'm fucking with this guy more.
Tarantino's output is still better, much better. Yeah, Guy Ritchie again. His output lately, yeah, it hasn't been great. It's just it hasn't been.
Where are you going, Sam?
My laptop's at 2%. I gotta run and grab my charger.
Oh,
Oh.
but yeah, it's I don't know. It also just annoyed me. One thing, a lot of the time, it wasn't even Guy Ritchie that annoyed me. It was his fans, and it was just like and it still annoys me the way Guy Ritchie can make like 5 mediocre or terrible movies in a row, but his fans will still show up for every goddamn thing he makes. But Matthew Vaughn makes one bad movie, and
I'll still show up for Matthew Vaughn. I
and
do not like
everyone-
that movie either, but I'll still show up for him.
and everyone's like, "What the fuck happened to this guy? This guy sucks now."
Layer Cake.
And I'm
We got to
just
pick
like,
Layer Cake. Layer Cake is such a good movie.
That's
And
the
Matthew
only.
Vaughn-
Well, no,
This movie was produced by Matthew Vaughn.
Yes, it
I
was.
know that's what the thing is. Like that's why Jackson probably brought it up, and that's why I'm saying like I am not one of those people who's just gonna shit on him for this last movie he made. I mean, do I like it? No. Do I think that makes him a bad director? No.
It's just like, okay, he's
No.
had a couple of duds. He had The Kingsman, he had Argyle, but it's like, again,
The
that's
Kingsman's
two.
not a bad movie. I will stand on The Kingsman's.
I have yet
I
to
will
see it.
stand there
I have
and I
no
will-
desire to see it.
I will
but
stand there and say it's not as bad as people say it is.
It is.
The Golden
yeah,
People-
but
Circle
shit on
is
it for dumb
also a
reasons.
great movie.
What?
Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I love it.
I agree with you on that, Sam. I'm one of the few
he was
people
talking
who
about
like
The
that
King's
movie.
Man, and I said The King's Man is not that bad of a movie. I'm still standing
forgot
on
about
that one.
Existing, good God.
Of
It's
course
not
you
a bad
did.
movie.
Everybody did.
Should it have existed? No, but it is a bad movie. Not if you watch it. You'll
But-
you'll at least be like, okay, I'm involved in the plot.
One thing we gotta fucking give credit for here. One thing we gotta give credit for, because Matt, you kind of said it earlier. Not only is this not a knockoff of anything, it helped create a genre of like if you've ever enjoyed like a gritty British, action comedy crime movie, you got Guy Ritchie and Matthew Vaughn to thank because they were the two fucking pioneers with this and with Layer Cake and with, Lock, Stock and like all the shit they were doing back then. They were the boys who, kind of made that genre into what it is now. And I don't know. This again, to me, this movie is just, I don't know how you could. If anyone said to me that they didn't like this movie, I would not trust them. It's just like,
I am so happy. I didn't think to be fair, when I saw this, I was like, if Jackson hates this movie, there's going to be a huge issue. And that would have been the issue. I'd have been like, I don't
No,
even
and
trust
you
this
would have been
person
100%
anymore.
because that's how I would feel if anyone told me that they didn't like this. Like, there's going to be an issue, my friend, because like, what the fuck? This
Yeah,
I don't know how you could not like this movie. I was in such a good mood watching it, and I just would love to see it again eventually. And it's wonderful, and it's clever, and it's the action, the editing, the actors, all the characters, just the comedy, the plot. I mean, every goddamn thing in this is just great. I love it. It's making me finally turn around on Guy Ritchie. This and The Gentleman. I want to see more of his movies that like.
When you watch Sherlock Holmes, think of the fight scenes, and that's how that whole movie is like visually.
Literally, I think the fight scenes between and the pikey, like with especially all the boxing scenes. There's several of those that he totally takes in the Sherlock Holmes movies, and it's so good.
Okay.
You're like,
Good
oh shit, he brought it back, but also he's doing it like better. Like he's improving on it.
Budget, so
yeah, the budget's bigger, so he's improving on it, and like also it makes so much sense for Sherlock Holmes and the way he's making Sherlock Holmes be. Because there's a whole issue with like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Sherlock series with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman.
I'd love to, but I never have.
See, I've seen all of them, and I can see where they interact. Where like one's kind of the they're like, oh, Guy Ritchie's the action Sherlock, and then obviously the BBC Sherlock is the mental Sherlock. They both have overlapping qualities, but like clearly Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock isn't about to fucking box somebody in a fucking arena. Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock, bro, he's gonna throw hands.
Yeah,
he's got hands. Like he's gonna whip you the fuck up.
It's about to be elementary, my dear Watson.
I swear, like, literally, if you just go in it with that, like, okay, this Sherlock is gonna fuck you up.
Plus, you get Jude Law. Like you can't go
and
wrong.
You get Jude Law. Yep, and you get Mark.
And apparently, Jared Harris.
Jared Harris.
Actually, he's in both. He's in both if you watch a certain version.
Oh, that's right. I have heard.
Because they did the whole retcon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Is it Rachel McAdams in those?
She sure is.
It's not Mark Stone. What's his name?
Sexy as hell. Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
Yeah, he's in the first one.
Yes.
It's Mark Strong and then Jared Harris, and then they haven't done the third one, but they set it up for a third one, and they keep saying they're going to do a third one, and I'm so mad.
And Downey Jr. did Doolittle instead.
Do a third Sherlock movie. I would love that.
They've been talking about it forever. Whether it's going to happen, I don't know. But
I don't care if he's even old Sherlock. I don't give a fuck. Like, do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
We can keep going if y'all want to, but
I think we need to move on because we
got one last
6 minutes left, guys.
And
we still have a movie left.
Let's let Jackson say what he has to say.
One last thing I just got to say is, because I haven't really touched on it much yet. Every single actor in this movie just at the top of their game. Everybody from fucking Jason Statham, who, Matt, you were correct. I missed this Jason Statham, who didn't just do shit like The Beekeeper and A Working Man and, the Meg and dog shit like that.
Don't you bring up Rather Man, my friend.
Much like Guy Ritchie, he has fallen off a bit as well.
Wait, actually, have you seen Wrath of Man?
I have not.
Watch it.
If you're in the Guy Ritchie mood, it's not the best one, but like it combines Jason Statham's like action persona versus Guy Ritchie's like sensibilities.
Jason Statham for about 15 years, Jason Statham was untouchable in my eyes. I just he was one of the best action stars ever.
He's still untouchable in my opinion. I don't think he's really he hasn't personally I'm talking like as an actor.
I'm at the point now where I don't associate him with doing good work anymore. I'm sorry. It's just
no, that's fair. I just don't.
I'm
not like it's different than Steven Seagal or some other people where you're like, you don't do good work and you're a bad person. It's like, well, at least you're a good person. Like you're good at heart.
I love him. I still love him, but I mean, I just wish he still made movies like this. But he's great in this. Stephen Graham is great. Lenny James, all three of those guys. Alan Ford, Brad Pitt, Benicio del Toro, fucking.
We didn't talk enough about Benicio.
Well, he's not in the movie as much as you'd think he would be.
No, I was very surprised how early he got killed off. I was like, oh, fuck, okay, they smoked him early. But Ray Cherbegia, who is a very underrated actor who plays Boris the Blade.
Yeah, he's so good.
Great actor who's been in who made the mistake of calling Tom Cruise Dimitri to his face, which we all know you don't do.
The mistake of killing John Wick's dog, or had a son who had the mistake of killing John Wick's dog.
That's not the same actor, Sam.
Sam.
It's Michael Nyquist.
I thought it looked so similar. I'm sorry.
That's not even close to the same actor, Sam. I mean, I can't even give you that one. The
moment I heard you say that, I went no. I was like, oh fuck, oh. Because
I can't even like kind of be like, oh, I can kind of see like they're not even close to the same.
I'm not gonna lie, like I had a similar thing where I was like, oh, this guy's been in movies I've seen, and I checked his IMDb page, and I was like, oh, he has been in movies I've seen, but not the ones I was thinking, so I just kind of let it go, and I was like,
And this is a connection to the Shadow because he had a very brief cameo in Batman Begins.
Yes.
So
he did.
there you go.
And we are connecting the Shadow and Batman.
And Mike Reed, who played Mike the Head or whatever his name is, Doug the Head, the big bald fuck. He was great. Underrated.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck.
And
then of course,
shout out
don't go to London.
Yeah, and Dennis Farina. God damn, was he great?
I'm thinking Get Shorty at some point because Dennis Farina is a god actor.
Probably
he's one.
Dennis. Yes.
Well, he's one of the, I was gonna say he's one of those people who he didn't go to acting school. He just was a human being.
Oh, I know.
Became an actor
because random little aside. A friend of mine, acting friend of mine, who I've done shows with before, Jim Esposito, wonderful man. He was Dennis Farina's childhood best friend. Grew up with him in Chicago. So yeah,
getting him on the show, I would ask so many questions about Dennis Farina's life because
oh my god, yeah, he told me stories. He told me stories about him. How like he joined he was a cop in Chicago for like 20 years before he became an actor. And, he said like, yeah, and he got cast on as like a small part of Miami Vice. And that just got him. He was like a police advisor on the show who Michael Mann cast in like a small part. And that was what gave him the acting bug. Because then he was in Thief. I think that actually came first. Yeah, Thief was first. Then he got on Miami Vice. And then it was like he became an actor from there. And he's goated as shit, man. And I love him.
God, I will stand on
Get
that
Shorty
laurels forever.
Get Shorty is my favorite part of his. So
I love him on getting in the airplane and just doing the shot, and then and having that happen later when he's going back home.
I just love when he shoots everything, and then he's like, Tony, come on, let's go. And then he runs out. He's like, and then he runs back, and he's like, Tony, come on. And it's like, he does it.
So mad. I was so goddamn mad
because you knew the moment Tony didn't follow me. He was like, "Oh, he shot Tony."
I love Tony. I came to love him so much by the end, and I was like, "Fuck you."
They do the thing where he's like, "I don't want to cut the dog open." In the moment you have him go, "I don't want to cut the dog open," you're like, "Oh, this guy has a limit."
Yeah,
this guy's like got redemption, and then
he's not a monster.
Boom. Yeah, like exactly. It's like
the dog is also one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Yes,
shout out to the
dog. Whoever dog trainer was, like with the dog.
The dog's on the cover. Over Benicio.
Damn right.
Well, because he's the one who ends up with the diamond, who shits it out, or gets a cut out of him actually. But this movie is just. I'm so glad we're on the same page because this movie was just so much fun to rewatch. Like every second of it is like so good. You can watch it. Like I remember as a kid when I was 12 or whatever years old, watching this like 8 times in a row. Like I literally could just throw this movie on back to back to back because it's that fucking good.
It's amazing.
I'm just so glad we got to talk about it because everyone who hasn't seen it better go and watch it. It's on Netflix until February today.
No, 28th in the month.
Oh, February. Sorry, 4 days. By the time this show airs, it's going to be 2 days. But
by far my favorite of the 3 picks this week. Thank you very much for picking it.
I'm not surprised though.
I'm so this was kind of an ace in the hole for me. It was like if you would not like this movie, we would have had issues. Like this would have been.
But yeah, since we're at this point in the night and at this point in our life, and we're not on a boat, we're not on our way to Margaritaville as Jackson just was. We're on a boat down a path of crushed dreams, a path of crushed souls, a path that is aimless and confusing because you don't really have a destination and you don't really have any kind of way to go forward. Some would say you are rudderless. You are stuck within this plane of existence because you are returning 3 for 3er Billy Crudup. Everything's great. You're fucking rich. Got a decently sexy wife for the time. Sorry.
No, you better listen to me.
I said that on purpose.
Bro is divorced.
I
he
will
was divorced
throw
at the
hands
time.
over Felicity Huffman now. You better watch yourself.
So would the College Board.
You stole my goddamn joke.
What else I gotta say?
Felicity Huffman and William H. Macy are no stranger to their kids being involved in college scandals. Let's just say that.
I was gonna say also, Homeboy was divorced in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, before he went to college? Damn.
You can tell because he came back to a fucking apartment.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
By himself.
He's also
Sorry.
drinking at a bar alone waiting for his son. So,
Yeah,
there's another one. But
that one could have been plausified, but it was not after the whole him coming home to his own apartment. Just gonna say that out loud.
As Jackson alluded to, William H. Macy is in this movie. He not only is in it, he directs it. And he asks you to picture this. What would you do if you had a son who died in a school shooting and you find their music tapes and decide to spread his music and joy to the world?
You fucking rock that shit, bro.
Exactly. And then the cannonball comes in, much like a cannonball came out of that shotty. And you realize nobody around you realizes that the music that they are performing with you in honor of your son is really in honor of a school shooter. Because your son is the shooter. And that is the gut punch that is this goddamn movie. Even though this movie...
That's so far into the movie, too, by the way. I just got to point that out.
This movie does not hit anywhere near as hard as it did back in 2014 when it came out and I first saw it. But that's because I'm just sensitized to all the mass shootings in this world. And I think that that's not as big of a deal anymore as it was back then. Returning actor Anton Yelchin, R.I. fucking P, is a little fucking dude who he's excited about life, music, people. And so you latch on to him because you lost your son in this shooting. And Lawrence Fishburne's kind of his guiding force at the pawn shop because he's in a band and he's been buying all of his fucking equipment from Lawrence Fishburne. And Lawrence Fishburne just wants to know that this kid is in the right hands. And he says you are until you aren't. And then he's like, still supporting you. And then
Lawrence Fishburne is the wise black man of the movie.
Yes.
We're going to find a lot of tropes that are going to come out in this movie, as we will.
You can call him a Bagger Vance, but we won't.
We won't. Because
that's what this movie is. Grief. Doing something with something that is forbidden for you to process and grieve and go through, and something that is not like you can't repair your life. You can't talk to people about this shit without being judged.
One thing about this movie, Sam, is the truth. As we will find out.
Selena Gomez is going to drop you in 2 seconds.
Billy Crudup is the golden god.
Hey, fucking man.
And that man drinks Budweiser like no one's business. But
he is the golden god. He is the big fish. And as Felicity Huffman knows, he's got that Dr. Manhattan cock.
And as Tom Cruise knows, he's a fucking cheating, low-life piece of shit rat. But before I hand it to y'all, I just need to express the feelings that the last shot of this movie gives me, where he walks away from performing, and you just see that mic and the empty space behind him, and this sounds very, now I'm about to say it, very corny, and kind of puts the movie down a little, but like the intention of like anyone can get up there and pick up this song that some fucking kid wrote and make it a moment and make it something greater than what it is, I think is a very important thing that the movie tries to say. I don't know if it succeeds to see.
That's not what I got from it at all.
Okay.
I was about to say, I got something from that shot. I do think William H. Macy, I was going to say this, is a great director because he shoots his things plainly, but then like there's moments where you're like, oh fuck, there's a gravitas to like what he's doing. Several times throughout the movie I felt that way, especially with that last shot. I see what I got from that was like that's the space that his son could have been in, and we're just watching that because like the whole time he's communicating with his son. And so what I got was like that's like, you know, he got up and his son was still there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
But not in the sense of like being, you know, like fucked up, but just like that's, you know, they're a space for another person, if that makes sense. And that's where I got. That's what I got.
What I got from it was he got all of Billy Crudup got all of that out of his system, and then now that he had sung that last song that he kept listening to and was singing for the first time, he kind of just he's done with it. Like it represents. I've stepped away from this now. I've stepped away from the singing. I don't need to do it anymore because I've gotten this out. So,
which is really fucked up given his entire arc, in a sad way and like a very poignant way. But also,
it's not about him.
Well,
like,
no, my question is this, and I wonder if you guys concur, is if he gives away his boat to Lawrence Fishburne, did he buy the music shop so he lives there now and sells music instruments?
That's what I was wondering. I wasn't really sure.
Question.
Because that's what I assumed, because I was like trying to figure out, I was like, well, where does he end up? And I think they were trying to lead to that. And so I assumed, because he
probably
goes back into Lawrence Fishburne, he's like, did you get a better offer? And then
yeah, okay, yeah,
with the boat.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they give him the boat for the shop, and so he lives in the shop and he sells music instruments.
You're probably right.
Makes a lot of sense. But I don't know. I'm just throwing that one out there.
Now Lawrence Fishburne's gonna have to deal with Allard Dick.
That's what I was thinking. Like, he's like, "Why are you trying to kick me off the ladies? Because I'm black." And Allard Dick's like, "No, no, no."
There you go.
There was a deleted scene. That would be a deleted scene. This movie.
Before Matt
the extended director's shooter's perspective cut.
Before Matt shares his overall thoughts on the movie, I just have to say, fucking severe Selena Gomez and Lawrence Fishburne jump scares in this movie, like debilitating. And the first thing I thought as soon as I saw Selena Gomez was, "Oh my God, she's going to rape him. I have to stop the movie and collect myself."
Jackson, do you feel
because
about
what else
Selena
can
Gomez
you think
the way I feel about
Gomez
Johnny
shows up on
Knoxville?
screen?
I was gonna say, Sam, I think you did you did kind of redeem Selena Gomez on this podcast.
I just feel like that wasn't harped on enough last week.
Johnny Knoxville.
The fact that was your first thought, but no, every main actor in this movie is a returning cast member from this show.
I just realized what you said. Sorry.
What, that you redeemed Selena Gomez?
Assuming that she was gonna rape you.
No, it's from Amelia Perez. Like you picked a good movie that she's in that I don't.
Don't tell me about a movie that doesn't exist.
No, yeah, I was making fun of your Johnny Knoxville comment last week.
I was just saying, like, hey, you brought her back. You did a good job. Yeah,
you did what I could not. But anyway, Matt,
I was gonna say I watched this movie with no preconceived notions. I did not look at any fucking synopsis of it. All I knew was the poster, which I honestly didn't realize was Billy Crudup or Anton Yelchin. Yep, that's all I've seen. And you know where I saw that poster, Sam and Jackson?
On my wall.
Nope.
No.
Redbox.
Oh my God.
that actually makes a lot of sense.
When it came out, it was on Redbox, and I saw the poster, and I was like, oh, and I knew William H. Macy had something to do with the movie. Didn't know he directed it. Never watched it. But I knew it existed. I knew what it was about. That's why when you brought it up, Sam, then the first thing I said was, isn't William H. Macy in that? Because I thought he was the one on the cover. It's not. It's Billy Crudup.
Bartender.
He is. This movie brought me to like fucking tears at points, almost. Not literally, but like at first I was like, oh man, this sucks because his kid died in a school shooting. And then when I found out it was like, I literally was about to pause the movie and finish it in the morning, and then because I was like, oh, he's gonna go visit his kid's grave. And then when I saw Killer and stuff like that, I was like, I have to finish this right the fuck now. So I stayed up that whole night and watched the rest of like the 40 minutes that was in there, because I went, oh, it was fucked up already, like him making them play music that his dead kid wrote and not telling them. Because, like, yeah, that's already kind of fucked up, but it's more of like, oh, well, I'm fucked up about it and it's upsetting, but, like, I'm not mad at you, way. When you find out it's the killer, you don't blame Anton Yelchin for punching him. You don't blame anybody for anything, but also you get his whole shtick from the beginning where he was not willing to tell people, because it's like, bro, people aren't going to be mad at you. They're just going to be like, oh, that sucks. Now I see why he didn't want to tell people. Like, it made so much sense, and I was like, yo, William H. Macy kind of came out and just knocked it out of the park with, like, because he co-wrote it with some people, and I'm like...
Well, it's based on a real story. where in this town, that's where the term "going postal" is from.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I know about the postal, but the guy wasn't a. He
No,
wasn't a
no, but
musician,
that
was
was
he?
the inspiration for this whole story was through that story of that person. From what
That
I've
I
read.
knew about that. I was like the fact that he left like he was an artist. Like Charles, like the way I was like, oh, if Charles Manson had parents that cared about him, type shit. This is that. If that makes sense to me, like that's where I kind of was like, oh, yo, this is fucking crazy, and I love it, and I love the way he did it because it honestly did take me off guard. Every moment did. If I didn't know shit about this movie, I didn't watch. Like I don't know what the synopsis says, but I really, when I saw the poster, what I was expecting was Billy Crudup being like an old, burned out musician trying to get his life back together. That's all I thought. This was not the movie that we saw at all. So I was very happy you picked it. I thought this was a very good one. I would say this is probably the top 5 of most caught off guard I was on this podcast. If not, maybe the top 3. Like caught off guard. I'm using that word specifically. It's like I was totally caught off guard by this movie because I didn't look anything to it. I just said fuck it, watching it, and then this was what I got. And I again, William H Macy, applaud to him as a director because he really didn't try to do too much. He just let the story tell itself. I appreciate that. So Jackson, I'll let you go.
Yeah, so I was very similar to you in how I came into the movie. I looked up the synopsis on IMDb. That was it. Didn't know a fucking thing about this. Had never heard of it before. Didn't literally had absolutely no preconceived notions about this movie whatsoever. Went in pretty blind. Hence some of the jump scares. I had no idea some of these people were going to be in this movie.
Kate Micucci.
Yeah, that was fucking random as shit, her being in that one little scene. And so I was like, okay, like literally all I knew was dude's son dies and he plays some music. And so like when the scene happens where he's in the bar calling him on the phone and shit, I was like, oh, he's gonna get in a car accident or something, and that's how he's gonna die. And then you see on the news a fucking school shooting, and I was like, oh god damn, okay, this is not what I thought it was gonna be at all. And so, unlike you, Matt, I figured it out in the first 5 minutes that the son was the shooter. I realized pretty quickly, I was like, I think that's the direction they're going to go. And I think that's going to be a twist at some point in the movie because the circumstances seemed like, I was like, they're very deliberately not revealing any information about what happened, who the shooter was, who was killed for a really long time. And I'm like, I think that's why. And the reporter asking him, like, have you spoken to the other parents? I'm like, why would they be asking him that unless his kid was the one that did it? Like, I kind of saw it coming, but, I still think it was well done. I just happened to figure it out. And so I was like, that's going to be really interesting when they get to that point. And it was. And I'll just say, you know, like you, Matt, I was very surprised because I kind of had this movie pegged at the beginning. I was like, okay, this is going to be like not necessarily a bad, but kind of a cliche, generic sort of little indie movie that may have some bright spots in it, but is overall going to be. I've seen plenty of movies like this that are just kind of generic. And I don't know if either of you ever saw that movie Hearts Beat Loud with Nick Offerman, but not a bad movie, but just like a very kind of middle of the road, whatever sort of movie. That was kind of the vibe I was getting from it. And then as it went along, I was like, oh my God, this is actually really fucking good. Has so much heart, has so much that it's like trying to say, and so many, I don't know, just great characters and a great story and just like very unique story. I mean, like, I can't think of another movie like this with this kind of I was very impressed by it. I did not know until the credits that William H. Macy was the director. So finding that out afterwards, I was like, God damn, all right, motherfucker can direct. Like, let's go. Great music. I mean, it's all just, I don't know. I was very impressed by it. Very impressed by it.
In the
For sure. I'll go ahead.
Sorry, in the bonus features on the DVD, there's a clip of William H. Macy talking about how the scene where Billy Crudup was crying with the broken guitar and he just couldn't get it working. And he was like, one of the best moments as a director was just pulling him aside and looking him in the eyes and saying, you're going to have to fake it. So I was like, you're a good director.
There you
That
go.
is the funniest thing I actually could imagine. The director's like, "You're gonna have to fake it."
And
But
then,
he's an actor, so he knows.
but then watching that scene again this time was like, oh, Billy Crudup, you have no emotion on your face. You are not selling this.
But here's the thing, though. Genuinely, that scene towards the end, when he goes to visit the campus for the first time since it happened, and he just breaks the fuck down. I was like, that shit moved me. I was like, what the acting from him in that moment. Like, we've seen many actors in many movies cry before, but I don't know where that came from. That shit felt so goddamn genuine to me. Like, he did not feel like he was acting to me. And I was like, wow. That was really fucking impressive. And he was great throughout the whole movie. The cleanest, hottest looking homeless person I've ever seen in my life. I don't think the community showers are that good, but
He's
you
not
can say
homeless.
that.
He lives on a boat.
Oh,
It's sexy except for the showers, guy.
and also him shouting while they're doing the regatta, him just shouting "shut the fuck up" at the top of his lungs. I felt that shit in my soul.
By with his middle finger up.
I will say this about Billy Crudup. I've never seen a performance of his where I felt like he was fake. Like, I granted, I haven't seen a lot. That's why I can't say I've seen a lot of his. It's not like I've seen every Billy Crudup performance ever. But I'm like, when I do, Dr. Manhattan, isn't he in fucking Big Fish?
Yep.
Yep. Big Fish.
Almost famous.
Almost Famous. The Morning Show.
Actually,
I've seen him on that.
Almost Famous is where he learned to play the guitar, which is why he played all and sang all of his music in this. So.
Yep.
Bro gives it his all every performance I've seen him in. And so I give him credit for that, where he never, like, unless if William H. Macy is being like, you gotta fake this shit, bro. Then he doesn't try to. He tries to give it his all. Which, clearly, if William H. Macy is telling him that, he's like, well, I was trying. Turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Billy Crudup's always been one of my favorite actors, and I've never seen him even in shitty movies like Alien Covenant. He's still trying his best. Not Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Hey, he's also my Dr. Manhattan, but I don't see as much of his giant blue cock.
Two. I don't think you can have two. I don't think you have two, Sam.
I can have two.
White or black. White or black. Pick one now.
Is it yin or yang, Sam?
Damn.
It's, canceled or uncanceled? Pick one.
My point is that this movie meant a lot to me when it came out, and the
fact that you saw this when it came out is nuts.
Yeah,
that is nuts.
It really kind of changed how I saw Anton Yelchin, who way before I knew Alpha Dog, and he was just fucking Chekhov and all that kind of bullshit. Because we keep talking about Star Trek.
Bro, Anton Yelchin keeps proving himself every time.
He does it, and it just, I think he really was quickly becoming one of my favorite actors I had ever seen, and then his untimely death really just was such a gut punch. And I think Billy Crudup, I've never seen anything that he's done that's to this degree of like real life, but very specific kind of ways of acting and character choices and carrying himself within the movie in a different way. So
I gotta say, Lawrence Fishburne is also one of my favorite parts of this movie too. I really liked his character. I love the scene where he's fucking with him trying to park the bus, and he's like getting all pissed off, like, "All right, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Let me get out of this truck." And it's cool too because every one of the main people, like I said, has returned. We had Billy Crudup and Lawrence Fishburne both in Mission Impossible 3, and Lawrence Fishburne and a lot of other stuff. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. Felicity Huffman from The Spanish Prisoner, Selena Gomez from a movie that doesn't exist, and William H. Macy from State of Maine in The Last Trek, and Anton Yelchin from Alpha Dog. So I think that's cool that we got so many 3 for 3 vets on here, all killing it, all doing a great job. Felicity Huffman, Sam, I will murder you in your sleep. She is beautiful. Beautiful. Just beautiful. William H. Macy's the lucky man. That's all I'll say.
Sam, to be fair, if you find Jackson standing over your bed with a knife and it's for Felicity Huffman, just know you'll have Harvard standing over Jackson with a knife.
Or Stanford or whatever fucking school she went to.
I would have had it coming, but also Jackson would also have it coming.
It,
He
Indeed.
coming to Felicity Huffman.
That's
there'll be a knife in
goddamn right.
Jackson's back while there's a knife in your chest, and then nobody will know where the knife in Jackson's back came from because they won't release that shit.
There you go.
But, I mean, that's
yeah,
where
no, I'm just straight up gonna be Daniel Plainview. One night's gonna come into your room and I'm gonna cut your throat. Did you hear me? You say bad about just that long take of him just staring. Did you just tell me that Felicity Huffman wasn't attractive?
Well, then there's Stanford sticking their fucking straw in your asshole and then going, "I drink your milkshake," and then just drinking your
Matt,
fucking
for a
fluids out of
second,
your
I thought
ass.
you were talking about the Stanford prison experiment because Billy Crudup's in that, and he is beautiful in that movie too.
I think
this-
Stanford also, it's all ties in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, Stanford.
There are layers to this.
Stanford.
There are layers to this joke.
But
And
Stanford
Jackson's
and Son.
milkshake.
We got to remember Sanford and Son ripped Damon Wilson.
and Brian
Jackson's
Doyle
milk-
Murphy.
Jackson milkshake brings all the Felicity Huffmans to the yard.
That's goddamn right. Oh my good God.
But I need to stress that this movie pictures and captures jam banding in a garage and just having so much fun being a musician with people so well. The humor in this movie is really genuine, and I think Anton Yelchin's could cut this. Jesse Eisenberg, the spectrum is here. Jesse Eisenberg's here. Anton's teetering on almost normal rather than over stimulated. He's just quirky enough to where it just works. It just works.
Anton Yelchin was such a great fucking actor. And this, I've always known that, but this movie really reminded me of that because this honestly might be my favorite performance I've ever seen from him. And just and what the bond between him and Billy Crudup is the heart of the movie. And what I love about it is it's such a realistic kind of bittersweet ending to it. They don't get the band back together and everything's great and they're best friends again and everything. It's no, man, it's nice because he convinces him. I love that scene in the restaurant or wherever he's at, where he tells him I don't want to be responsible for fucking up another young man's life, and just and again, just that realistic ass scene of he doesn't give any big speech. He just says, quitters never win. And he's that's the best you got. He's that moment where he genuinely is trying to think of something else. And he's just no, yeah, that's the best I got. Quitters never win, take it or leave it. And then the Anton Yelchin, he gets the other bandmates back together. He follows his dreams. He fucking, is writing songs and he's going to be successful and you just know it. And Billy Crudup, he may be a part of his life going forward. He may not, but he's the one who gave him the push and he's the one that helped him. And he's the one and he's finally made peace with his own situation. And, he may take over the shop. Anton Yelchin may come in to buy shit from him. They may stay friends. They may stay in touch, or he may not. But the point is, where you're at in the story, it ends where it's supposed to end. It ends with you knowing everything is in its right place. And it was very mature, unexpectedly so. And I don't know, man. I think just that's what surprised me about so many parts of this movie is how mature it was, how, touching it was. And just, it wasn't, I don't know why. I just thought it was going to be, when it started, it just seemed like it was going to be one thing and it was something else. It was not surface level. It was very deep. It really got to the heart of everything they were talking about. And yeah, I just think that's such an interesting thing. How do you process something like that? How do you process the fact that your kid is a monster, who murdered 6 people?
I don't
And
think
then
we've had a single movie on this
humanizes him a
show.
little bit. Humanizes the kid a little bit with the songs, which is what's so fucked up about the movie. Because God damn it.
It's wild because it's he's a murderer, but he did have this other, and that's kind of what Billy Crudup says. He's I wanted to see a side of him that I never saw before, someone who could make this music. And it's fucked up and he should never have done it. But it's I don't know, that was his way of grieving. That was his way of processing it. He had to process it in his own way. And that was just his way of doing it, right or wrong. That was just how he chose to do it.
I do want to say this before I let Sam take over, but Anton Yelchin, like you were saying, Jackson, his performance is amazing. and every time you see one of his performances, you almost like it's almost like I feel like I'm Billy Crudup in this movie, like in the sense where every time I see one of his performances, I'm like, I understand you more as a person, and it just becomes that, and I'm like, he's almost like I don't in comparison in a obviously complimentary way, not like a but John Cazale, like I feel like he's maybe our generation's version of that because every time you see him, you're like, oh, I know this man. Like I get him. And you got that before he even died. But then when he dies and you watch his other performances, you're like, oh my God. Like
Watch Love and
you can
Tasha.
almost
That movie's
see like you
so
can
fun.
almost see the performances that he missed. Like not that he missed, but like he could have done this, he could have done that. He could have done movies we didn't even fucking know about type shit. And I feel like that with, like when you watch John Cazale's performances, you're like, he did all these movies. What are the ones he didn't get to do where he would have fucking killed it still? And you both died at a young age. I don't know when John Cazale died, but I know Anton Yelchin died way too fucking young.
I think
To
they're
the point
both
where
in their
he could
I
have
think,
lived into his old age.
yeah, I
But like,
think
in like,
Anton Yelchin was 28 when he died, same age
oh,
I am now, which is nuts.
yeah, and it's
20,
like
But
27. He was a part of the 27 Club.
27. Yeah.
27, God
See, that's the
damn. So
big,
yeah,
and it's like, bro could have done so much, but when you see these performances, you feel like you know him, and that's why I like this movie because I feel like this movie even doubled down on the certain sense because it's like, granted, Anton Yelchin is not at all a bad person, but you're just like, man, died too young, and you can see everything in his performances, and like even Charlie Bartlett, like which is
Yeah.
a crazy movie to shout out, but like you watch him in that, and you're like, yo, I see him being charismatic and crazy and fun, but like nerdy a little bit in that. And then you see him as like Chekhov, and then you see him in Green Room, and you see him in all these other movies, and you're like,
thoroughbreds.
bro,
Thoroughbred,
bro
yeah.
is killing it every time he gets the chance, and he's doing something a little different, but there's still, I don't know, you see him, if that makes sense, but not him.
Mhm.
No,
And I think
definitely.
that's
It's
what
funny.
makes him great. And
I never
so I
would have
appreciate
thought it. I never would have thought of it that way, but you're right. I mean, just like John Cazale, died way too young, only got to make a limited number of movies. But every one of those movies, he put everything he had on the table, and you do think to yourself, yeah, like, where would he have gone if he had gotten to live longer and, make more things? And I guess really it's everyone who dies at a young age and only, before their career really gets to take off. It's kind of how I feel a little bit about Chadwick Boseman as well, where it's just kind of like, hey man, where would he be if he was still around, where would he be 10 years from now, That's something that happens whenever an actor dies before their time comes, but also in those situations, you're thankful for what they gave you while they were here. And this movie is not super well known, like by any means, especially compared to stuff like Star Trek and a lot of his other movies.
When I
But
had
like,
less than 100
I,
movies, this was on my fucking shelf.
yeah,
Movie
but
the most.
even though it isn't that well known, I gotta say, man, I really think this is the best performance I've ever seen him give. And God bless, he just killed it.
Let's bless you. Watch it if you can. But Love and Tasha is a documentary about him that I could not finish because you just see the amount of joy and excitement for life that he had, that he brought into every single room he walked into, every single set he was on, and it's so sad to watch. But that's where there's not really been any movie I think on this podcast where all three of us have had a completely different interpretation of the final shot of the movie. I know we've talked about that a little bit, but this was like polar opposites between the three of us, I feel like, in a way.
Well, I feel like none of us are invalid either. Like it's not like
Exactly.
No, yeah, all of us are.
We all have a good point to make.
Yeah, like we could all easily be just as right. I mean, it could mean any of those things.
And I don't know. This movie is
And honestly, that's the best thing is when a shot, that's a good scene. That's a good shot when you can have that many interpretations of it and nobody's really wrong. I feel like that means he did a good job.
exactly. No, it's a sleeper hit that I think everyone did their fucking job to the most, and it just is a crime that it's not all the way out known. But also, I think it's good to have those kind of movies where you just stumble upon it and then just dive
I
into the
mean,
world.
I don't think this movie at the time especially made much sense, but I feel like it's aged like wine
Yeah.
because now school shootings really do happen a dime a dozen, unfortunately, as it's said, but like it happens a lot. It's not even a joke. It's not even a punchline. Back then, maybe in 20 when it came out like 20 what 10?
14.
2014. Even 2014 it's like school shootings didn't happen
Well, I
as
mean, like,
often as it
I
did,
could
so it seemed a
count
little
them on my
contrived.
hand.
Now, no, it makes complete sense. There's no like, oh, this is weird. No, it just happens. Like school shootings unfortunately do happen. And there's multiple in months. Like I fucking hate to say it, but it's true. Like there's several in months. Sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're not. This movie makes so much more sense when you live in this environment that
Yeah,
we're in.
I mean, there's parents who whole lives they can no longer even show their face in public because their child is known as this person who did this thing. And I don't know, this movie speaks
That was
a
a
lot.
big thing too, because it's like it seemed like they did nothing wrong. Like the day he shot up the school, he's like, skip class, dude. Come on, hang out with your dad. Does not like obviously it's not in the. You'd think it's not in the parenting at that point, and you think because you don't know what the previous, but like your dad was like giving you kind of an out for your whole situation, and then he didn't take it, and you see that, and you think like at first you think, oh, he just wants to be a part of school. He's scholarly, and then you realize no.
Well, it's one of those. It's one of those things that's so interesting to me. Again, they layer it in, and it is subtle, but I was picking up on it. Again, just a couple of things that made me think. I think he was the shooter. That at the very beginning, when he's singing in his dorm room, when the guy comes in, he's like, "Hey, have you seen so and so?" Just that fucking look he gives that guy.
Because when I'm recording music and Stuart walks in the room, I'm like, I want to shoot the fuck out of you too.
Well, see, that's where I didn't get mad because I was like, honestly, like if I had roommates and they fucking interrupted me doing my creative shit, I'd
No,
literally look at them like, get the
I
fuck out of my
agree.
face, dude.
But you
You're like,
see
what are
that
you
look you
doing?
just did? Okay, this is the look you just did. Like, get out of here. This is the look that the kid did. I'm just like,
You gave
okay,
him the
you
Sean
know.
Bateman look.
Yeah, I remember just like thinking about that shot where he gives that kid the glare. And then again, later on, when Billy Crudup is listening to that recording on the boat, and you hear the next part where the kid is just like, I gotta get the fuck out of this place. And you just Billy go back and watch that knowing the context. Billy Crudup's reaction, where he's just like he looks
That's where he
horrified.
realizes everything.
Yeah,
because I remember
but
when that happened, I was like,
we
what?
don't know that yet. But Billy Crudup knows, and that look of just horror on his face of like, oh my God.
That's
like,
where I
you
felt
know.
weird because I was like, I've said that before, but I didn't mean like I'm gonna
But
kill
again,
everyone. But I've
was-
said like I've got to get the fuck out of this place. Like,
But
that.
I was watching it though, and I was like, that was
I've never
again,
felt like I'm gonna go kill somebody.
it was one of those subtle clues where I was like, I think that's what they're building towards, you know, just little details here and there.
That's what I'll say. For me, granted, I was giving The Shadow too much credit, and maybe I gave this movie a little less credit than I should have because I didn't see it coming at all. I just assumed, nah, he's just dead. And like when he said, "I gotta get out of this place," he was upset because like, oh, he was not even wanting to be in college in the first place, and he got killed. And then they showed the killer thing, and I was like, oh my God, like I was like, oh shit. And then you're right, Jackson. They do hint at it the whole movie, but for me, I totally was not there for it. Like I wasn't picking up on it. But
that
also,
means
I
they
was
did a
kinda
good job.
judging the movie a little. I was giving it the hands off, like this is clearly about a guy who's it's too simple. Like this movie is a simple movie. It is not a simple movie. But that was my issue.
The
I went
interaction
too hands on the Shadow, maybe because I saw it after. But
yeah, and the interactions between the characters are fucking real as shit too. I appreciate that because like I've been in situations with people before where I was Anton Yelchin and there was a Billy Crudup standing next to me where, you know, that line he has where he's just like, you know, they're talking and they're just like, all of your advice is not really helpful. Like I say, I don't know how to do this. And you say, well, just go do that thing. Or I don't know how to say this. And you're like, well, just go say that thing or whatever. And I'm just like, I've been in situations where I've had conversations like that with people. And it's just, I don't know, like we're pretty much saying that exact same thing. And I don't know, that just, the whole thing felt like, I don't know. These are real people and these are real conversations, and that's what you like to see. And Billy Crudup had that great line too, where he goes like, "I didn't say." He's like, "Go talk to her," and he's like, "I can't do that." He's like, "I didn't say go hit on her. I said go talk to her, like have a conversation." And I'm just like, that's a lot of wisdom because a lot of the time I think that is how you should approach that situation.
Think about
Um,
when he's working on the wall and he has the headphones in. You have that like whole minute long shot of him hammering the wall, and the dude's just talking to him the whole time, and you just can't understand him because what you hear is what's in the headphones, and it shows how like just sunken and regressed into his own mind that he is. That like he just is ignorant to this stuff happening around him.
Well, I'd felt bad at first, kind of for those guys because I was like, they're trying to hang out with him, they're trying to get in deep with him, and he's just like cutting them off at every segment. But unfortunately, by the end of the movie, I kind of understood why he did that because like he knows those guys and he knows that there's just no like they're being nice, sure, whatever. Like they're gonna do nothing but drag him down if he talks to them more. And that's the truth. Like had he talked to them any more and they hadn't found out about his past, they still would have made him drink more because they're drinkers. Like they wouldn't have helped him. Anton Yelchin, sure he had a beer or two with his bandmates and shit, but like he wasn't getting him drunk, you know?
he was driving him
was
home
like-
when he was drunk.
Yeah, he exactly. So it's like I don't know, I could understand why he was kind of mean to those guys. Or not mean, but he was standoffish into the sense of
Why
like,
he wanted to
I'm
keep
doing
his
my
distance.
job, you're doing your job, we're doing a job. I'm not about to like get in on my life with you because what's the fucking point? And I kind of
And
understood
again-
that by the end of the movie.
And that's
Not-
great because Anton is the one who brought him out of that. He's like, oh, this is a person I can actually finally talk to who's not just going to drag me down. But then he realized, oh, I'm going to drag this kid down if I kind of stay with him. So I got to send him off on his own, and convince him to do the things that he wants to do.
Hello, 3 for 3ers. I am your host this week, Samuel Holler, and it's been a 3 for 3. The entity has decided to finally fuck with us to the point that we are no longer able to express or give you the ending of Rudderless or the end of this episode because it does not want it to exist because the things we say are too important, too accurate, and way too true. And I am coming to you live from a very padded room from a certain person's house that we won't talk about, who will be involved in this podcast within season 4, but we will get into that soon. But yes, to give you all an update, Matt was 3 for 3, I was 2.75 for 3, and Jackson was an emphatic 2 for 3. Because The Shadow is great, but The Shadow has problems. The other 2 movies were wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I don't know if we got this into the episode, but I just want to stress that there's not very many movies where you can have an ending where all 3 of us have a different interpretation of it, have a different meaning for it, have a different way of it changing the movie for us. And so just want to stress, watch Rudderless if you can, because it's a hidden gem that's just been there for 12 years, and it's a great movie. I've lost all my facial hair in the process, other than my mustache, so next time you see me, I could be losing this too. We'll find out. Stay tuned for the Oscar special because it's coming soon. We got 3 bangers coming your way. It's been a 3 for 3. My name's Samuel Holler, signing off. Subscribe, comment, vote in the poll.